So, just as a disclaimer, I do not have a horse in this race. I do not care if Peter Griffin is fat or muscular because at the end of the day, I would not choose to play as him. However, it is strange that his Fortnite iteration, they chose for him not to be fat. Let's talk about it. Honestly, the main reason for this video is because when I had brought up that it was just kind of weird, kind of strange that Peter Griffin wasn't fat in Fortnite, instead of having people go, yeah, that is weird, what I was met with was people's justifications and them trying to rationalize why him not being fat was a good thing or that it was better that he wasn't fat. Now, me being me, I thought this was kind of crazy, but I decided to take a step back and maybe do some research, see if I missed anything. And judging by some of the conversations on the internet, it looks like I'm not the only one who's been thinking this and having this, debate about this. So I decided to gather all the talking points as much as I can and just give my opinion on this. And since I have a YouTube channel, why not make a video about it? So I hope you enjoy. So first things first, what are we talking about? Well, on December 3rd, 2023, Fortnite's 28th season had dropped, or also known as Fortnite's Chapter 5 Season 1. And with the new season comes a new Battle Pass, and one of the key new skins to the Battle Pass and the newest collaboration with Fortnite is FamilyGuy, which gave us the skin for Peter Griffin. However, he's in a different form than we are normally used to. He is buff and muscular. He isn't in his iconic fat shape that we are used to seeing him as. I obviously find this strange, but let's go through some of the excuses and justifications that some people has brought up to why you shouldn't find this strange. Well, one, they explained it in the trailer. You see, Meowscles gave him some expired slurp juice and look, now he's all buff. It's kind of what he wanted. Which is not a good justification because if Meowscles had threw Goku in a vat of purple goo and we got an all purple Goku, people would still want the original Goku. Well, it's a reference to when Peter Griffin was muscular in one of his episodes in Family Guy, and only true Family Guy fans would know that and appreciate it. And to that I will say, references are all good and dandy, and that would be a perfect reason for a buff Peter Griffin to be an alternate style, not his only style. Then I saw some people saying, well, if they made him fat, then his model will be just too big and it wouldn't fit the hitbox. And to that I'll say, no, his model would not be too big. Even the time when he was made into a video game, his model wasn't even that big, but it still showed him off as fat. Plus, there's many other skins in Fortnite that has bigger looking models, so it doesn't really matter that much, especially at the end of the day that all character models have the same hitbox. And yes, you heard me, all player character models in Fortnite have the same hitbox. It's, a real quick thing to look up, and I even tried it out for myself. It's all the same, just different skins. And obviously this was done as a conscious effort for balancing reasons. And one of the last things that I heard was that people said, well, if you made him fat, then visually he'll be easier to hit. And so he'll be a pay-to-lose skin. And to that I'll say, so? Fortnite has over 1,000 skins. And yes, some are, I guess, quote-unquote pay-to-lose because they're bright or flashy or have literal targets on them. So I don't think adding one more to the pile would disrupt anything. And besides, the only time you would care about something like that is if it's your specific goal or your special dream to become a very competitive Fortnite player while specifically only using the Peter Griffin skin. Which, if that is you, you are not a real person. Unless, you are, then more power to you. Also, I'm going to say it again. I don't have a horse in this race. I don't care if he's buff or if he's fat. But it's just really weird that he doesn't have a fat option. I'm not mad that he's buff. I'm mad that there isn't an option for us to choose whether we want to play as normal Peter Griffin or buff Peter Griffin. I mean, there are already a few skins that does change models from medium to large in the same edit style, so it's not unheard of. And then on top of that, buff Peter Griffin isn't really a small looking model anyway. Those were a lot of the main reasons and excuses that I heard. But then there was one excuse that I heard quite a bit from a few people. Maybe this is just fatphobia. Now, I'm not going to assert one way or the other whether or not Epic Games or Fortnite in general is fatphobic. But the people who do think so does have a few points going for them. I mean, out of the hundreds of skins that Fortnite has, none of them is particularly fat. I've seen people bring up Penny or Kyle, the Save the World characters that are character skins as well, but honestly, I wouldn't call that fat. Yes, they are stocky, maybe even a little meaty, but fat? Not those skins. And I guess even some people say relaxed fit Jonesy is kind of fat, which I guess his stomach is showing, but I wouldn't call that fat either. Yeah, it's just a bit strange that out of hundreds of skins, there's not really one that's considered fat. And even if you consider the last 3 skins I talked about as fat skins, well, why not Peter Griffin? The fat man. It's just weird that they made a conscious effort not to make him fat, even though being fat is very integral to his character and his image. I guess if you're not in the know, Peter Griffin definitely represents a specific genre of media when it comes to adult cartoons, where the blueprint is usually a nuclear family, dad, mom, 2 kids, maybe a baby, maybe a pet, and just a whole bunch of hijinks and adult humor ensues. But for some reason, in that blueprint, the dad usually is fat. Plus, I feel like we can pretty much all agree that Peter Griffin's a pretty notable fat character in media. So is Fortnite fatphobic? Well, I don't know. But I do, however, find it really strange that out of all the hundreds of characters, there really isn't one fat character. I saw someone say that a fat character really wouldn't fit or be appealing in Fortnite, but that doesn't really hold water since you can play as a humanoid stack of balloons. And on top of that, you don't have to buy the skin. You don't have to play as any skin that you don't like. That's kind of the beauty of Fortnite. So again, it is strange that given the golden opportunity handed to Fortnite on a silver platter to make a fat character out of the fat man, and they chose not to take it, is kind of strange. Like, I'm not crazy. That is strange. Please tell me it's strange. Anywho, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, the collab is fine. The only thing I would ask for is a selectable edit style to be the original Peter Griffin. But aside from that, maybe throw in the giant chicken as a playable skin as well. That'll be funny. This video was only made because I just had a lot of thoughts about this and just been thinking about what everyone been saying and the fact that a lot of people doesn't find it as weird as I did, or maybe they do. But hey, I have a YouTube channel, so why not just throw on the mic and start talking about it? I hope you did enjoy this video, but what I really hope is that you enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one.